Hi, my loves. So spring has finally sprung, and today we are celebrating in the kitchen with 3 delicious spring-inspired pasta dishes. Now, each of these tasty dishes features some fresh spring produce, so I'm so excited to bring these recipes to you. We're getting started today with a really fresh asparagus and spring pea pasta. Now, both asparagus and peas are in abundance in the spring, which I am really excited about. For this recipe, I am starting by frying up some pancetta in a large skillet on the stove. Pancetta is essentially Italian bacon. If you don't want to use pancetta in this recipe, you could do this with regular bacon, or you could leave it out and do this with butter or some olive oil instead. Totally up to you. So our pancetta is getting nice and golden, which means it is time to start building in our flavor. We've got some finely diced onion. We've also got some minced garlic. I'm totally cheating with jarred garlic here, but fresh would be way better. We're going to cook that mixture for 3 or 4 minutes or until those onions start to soften up, and then it is time to add our greens. I've got my asparagus cut into thirds, and I've also got some beautiful snap peas that I've cut into thirds as well. Frozen peas do the job, but there's no substitute for fresh peas. Aw snap, peas are in season. You're going to want to season all of this up with some salt and some pepper, and then you just need to cook them for 2 minutes or so or until they become nice and bright green. Once that green becomes nice and vibrant, it's time to add your cooked pasta to your pan. In this case, I'm using penne, but honestly, any pasta will do. Finally, we are going to finish this dish off by stirring in some nice creamy ricotta cheese. Ricotta cheese just gets nice and delicious as it cooks down. You're gonna let it coat all of those beautiful vegetables. Keep everything stirring. Once our ricotta is well incorporated, like so, I've got some freshly chopped parsley. I'm also using some beautiful chives. Now, the other thing I love about spring, of course, is all the fresh herbs start to come in. So everything gets real herbaceous in my house. Yes, herbaceous is a word, look it up. We're gonna season this up with some more salt, some more pepper, and then I'm gonna serve it up with some fresh lemon wedges. This pasta is ready, Freddy. That is a dinner you can feel real good about. A great way to get your greens. Next up, I am making a really simple deconstructed pesto pasta, and I love this idea. It's basically all of the ingredients in a pesto except not blended together. How clever is that? It all starts with a nice big skillet on the stove over medium-high heat, and I'm just going to add a good helping of olive oil. And when I say a good helping, I mean about 1/4 cup or so. The olive oil is actually going to be the base for our sauce, so don't be afraid to go liberally with the olive oil in this recipe. And to that, I'm going to add my garlic. You're only gonna wanna let it cook for 15 or 30 seconds. As soon as you can smell that garlic happening, it is time to add your cooked pasta. In this case, I'm using some fusilli, but you could go ahead and use whatever kind of pasta you wanted. I just cooked it according to package directions and then drained it and set it aside. Once that pasta is coated in all of that nice garlic-infused oil, we are going to start adding our other ingredients. I've got about 4 cups of baby spinach that I've just finely chopped. I'm also adding, because this is pesto after all, a whole heaping helping of fresh basil. Basil is the predominant flavor in any pesto sauce, so you don't have to worry about adding too much. You can go really liberally here. It's gonna look at first like it is too much for your pan, but the thing about spinach and about basil is that they wilt down and their volume gets cut in almost half. So you just have to let the heat work its magic. Now that our greens are nice and wilted, you can see we have a little more space in our pan again. I'm just gonna stir in some tomatoes. This is gonna add some nice color and of course even more nutrients to this pasta, which I love. We're also going to add in half of our Parmesan cheese. There's no such thing as too much freshly grated Parmesan, is there? While that Parmesan is melting away, I'm also gonna season this up with just a little salt and some pepper. All you need to do is cook that until everything is heated through and it is ready to serve. How simple is that? I'm going to top it all off with some beautiful toasted pine nuts. Pine nuts are amazing on their own, but toasting them takes them to a whole other level. And then another good helping of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. And there you have it, my loves. Dinner is served. Super simple, really, really quick, which I, of course, love. Finally, for today's spring celebration, a slightly heartier offering. It's my sausage, mushroom, and broccolini pasta, and it's really, really flavorful and delicious. It all starts with cooking up our pasta. Of course, I've got my pasta water at a rolling boil right now. I'm gonna make sure it is well salted, always super important. I'm just going to add my pasta to this water and let that cook away until it's softened up. In this case, I'm using fettuccine, but once again, any pasta will do. While that pasta is cooking, I'm going to add some Italian sausage that I've just removed from its casing to a big pot on the stove. I'm going to cook my sausage over medium-high heat until it's no longer pink, and then it is time to add my beautiful oyster mushrooms. Now, these guys are gorgeous. They're really, really meaty and delicious. I'm just gonna season them up with some salt and pepper. If you didn't want to use meat in this recipe, it would be totally fine. The oyster mushrooms are actually quite meaty all on their own. So our fettuccine is almost cooked, which means it is time to add our broccolini. I'm actually just leaving it whole as is. You could chop it up if you wanted to, but we are just going to let it boil with that pasta for maybe like a minute. Once those mushrooms have released a lot of their moisture and begin to come golden, you know it's time to start adding in your seasonings. In this case, I am adding some minced garlic, some fresh thyme leaves, and some red chili flakes. I'm gonna give all of this a stir. And just as those flavors heat up and come together, I'm going to drain my pasta and my broccolini, and then we are going to bring it all together, folks. We just wanna stir this all around until it's coated in all of those mushrooms, that sausage. Oh, so, so good. We're gonna finish this off, as we do, with a little more salt and a whole lot of pepper, and it is ready to serve. I like finishing it off simply with a little drizzle of good quality olive oil, and my goodness, fresh, beautiful pasta dishes, 3 delicious ways. Pasta fork, it's time to eat. I hope you guys will try these tasty recipes, and if you do, be sure to tweet me, Instagram me, or Snapchat me a photo because I love seeing your kitchen creations. Keep in mind, all of these yummy recipes are available in the description box below, so you can take a look for them there. And finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from.